shattered to unbreakable. Listen here, sweet sister. Whether you think you have one little crack or you are shattered into a billion pieces, this podcast is going to give you the resources, tools, and skills to help piece yourself back together to form a beautiful, unique, solid, and unbreakable masterpiece. You are listening to Shattered to Unbreakable, the Reclaim Podcast. Let's talk. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Shattered to Unbreakable. I'm your host, Brandi Babin, and I'm so excited to be with you today. Today's going to be kind of a short one. Watch, I'll say that, and then it'll be like 30 minutes long. But I just wanted to bring something to your attention that I've noticed throughout the last probably 10 years of my life. I have gotten lost in my identity and in where I'm going when I start to look to other people to guide my path. And so I want to talk today about a couple of things that have happened lately that have really reiterated that for me. And I've noticed this keeps happening. It's like this recurring theme to where I'll come to a crossroads or a decision-making time in my life, and I will second guess my gut, and I'll start asking people for their opinion or their advice. And I'm not saying that you can't ever ask for help. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask for advice, especially from those wiser than you, and especially from those who you would like to actually live the life they're living. But I want to point out that nobody's advice is ever going to be exactly what you need, because it's their advice based on their experiences that they've had in their life. And every single one of us is so different. We have a different life that came about in a different way with different genetics and a different environment. And if one single thing had been different than what we had actually experienced, our whole lives would be on a different track. And it's like the compound effect where, like, when you hit a golf ball, you could just be off by just a tiny little bit. But because it goes 200 yards, the tiniest little bit that you're off when you hit the ball could mean being in the fairway or in the woods. And if your life had taken any sort of different detail, you'd be in a different place. And that's why it's so hard, because literally every second you have a chance to make a decision, or something happens, or you have a chance to react, or how many seconds have you lived up to this point? That's how many chances that you could have had a different life. And that's why it's so unique, everybody's experience and everybody's advice. It's very unique to them. And this, my friends, is why there's so many self-help books, but not one of them has been the right book for every single person on this planet. Not one. And that's because every self-help book is the story of the person who wrote it. That's it. It's what worked for them. And that's never going to be what all works for you. And so this is a little bit of a repeat compilation of some previous episodes, but in the last few weeks, I've had several instances where I'm kind of starting to second guess my gut, and I've been reaching out. And when I reach out, when I hear something back, I'm like, it's not quite it. I know it's not quite it. And then there's a part of me that starts doubting, well, maybe they're right and I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being stubborn. Maybe I'm not seeing something. Maybe I need to bend. Maybe I need to try something different. And yes, there's truths to that. However, if it's not right, it's not right, and you'll feel it. There's a difference between knowing it's not right and just being uncomfortable with change, or just being a little bit fearful. You can be fearful and know that that decision is the right decision to make. You know it. You're like, I know I have to make this decision. I know I do. I'm scared to, but I know it's right. I know it. And so it takes courage to then carry the decision out. And I've had a few instances where some things are happening in my life where it's just not normal. It's not what I'm used to. And so these decisions are new. They're new for me. And I know the decision, but when I share it with somebody else, I can either doubt my own gut, or I can take what little pieces from their advice or their story or their feedback I can take the little pieces that I know are true and I can leave the rest, knowing that if they were in my shoes, that would be the right decision for them. But they're not in my shoes. They have a different life, a different career, a different morning routine, a different genetic makeup, a different way of processing information, a different way of communicating information, a different way of having their friends and family, and just a difference of everything. Their whole being is 100% completely different from mine. Of course, their advice would work for them, but it's not going to work for me. And so there's been two instances that I wanted to just tell you about really quick. One of them was my boss asked us to do goals. He wants to know, what's the goal for this company? What do you have future goals for as far as your position and where you want to be in this company? And then what are your goals outside of the company? Like, what is your like big dream goal? And so I went on ChatGPT actually, instead of just answering it myself, which I probably should have. But I went on ChatGPT and I was like, hey, ChatGPT, this is what I'm going through. This is the question I was asked based on my history. What do you think? And it gave me a great answer, a really great answer, but the timeline was off. And so if I'm going to look at ChatGPT's timeline, it really stressed me out because I was like, I don't see that working in that time frame. And then it started making me think, well, maybe I should make it work, and that maybe I should do, maybe I should. It started shoulding all over myself. And I've talked about that before. Where does that get you? Nowhere. Just covered in shoulds. So I was like, all right. So I sent it to my boss. He replied and he was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Here's what I think you should do. Super valid, very smart, intelligent advice. Totally would work for him. I could see that. I could see in his life how his advice was perfect for him, but it wasn't for me. There were bits where I was like, yeah, that's good. And then there were bits where I was like, my heart is sinking. My heart is sinking reading this, because what if his answers are right and mine are wrong? And if I were to live out what he says I should do, it would kind of kill my spirit a little bit. And so I knew it was wrong for me. I knew it. But the reason that I know these things is because for the last 10 years, I've been practicing identity. I've been practicing getting to know and love me, exactly who I am, and developing that person that I know she's supposed to be. And it's beautiful when you finally reach this place where no matter what advice is given, you have an alignment. And the alignment is unwavering. And so if someone gives me advice that doesn't align, I feel it. I feel it, and I can't deny it. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I have a strategy written out. Doesn't matter if I have a business plan. Doesn't matter if 5 people are telling me, yeah, do that, do that, do that. I'm still like, no, it doesn't align. There's a piece out of order, and it could be the smallest tweak. Like, it's just timeline. ChatGPT is totally right with the strategy, the plan, everything. It's a beautiful plan. But ChatGPT wants me to do it in the next 3 to 6 months. It's not what I want. It does not align. I have been working for so long on alignment, and I felt really aligned and really solid and really peaceful until that question was asked, and I rearranged my whole plan based on what ChatGPT and another person said, a successful person who is living the life that I would like to live. Right? And so if I were to derail myself and trust the advice of a computer, a really smart one, and a very successful person who's living the life I want to live, I would change my whole trajectory. First of all, they were conflicting. GPT and my boss had conflicting advice. And so which way do I go, right? Well, if I went my boss's route, my spirit dies. If I go ChatGPT route, the security for my family goes away. And it's like plan A or done. And so it's the plan that I had before this stirred up was perfect, is perfect. It's my perfect plan. And I'm not saying like it's set in stone. I'm leaving room for flexibility, spontaneity, God's guidance, unknown surprises that I wouldn't expect. I'm leaving room for God to create a bigger life than I could possibly imagine. But I do have my little strategy, and it works for me. Like, it's doing well for me. And it wasn't until I started thinking, well, maybe I should start listening to these other people, my life got out of alignment. And then I started feeling uncomfortable with my plan, uncomfortable with everything, honestly, and started feeling that little bit of emptiness, a little bit of not enoughness again. And I was like, no, this is not happening. I was fine 2 weeks ago. We are not doing this. And so I'm fighting for my alignment. I'm like, nope, I am not letting anything derail me. I am fighting for my alignment. I am fighting for the healing that I've had, and I'm not going to let this derail me. And so I got back to alignment. What is my purpose? And sometimes that's scary, because if you thought you knew your purpose and then you have all this feedback and outside noise, and then you go back and revisit your purpose, sometimes you're like, oh crap, is that not my purpose? Oh, no. And so what's really cool about the work I've done, a lot of the mirror work, the work in Reclaim Guidebook, the meditations of finding out where my tears come from and asking myself questions to get to know myself better. What about that made you cry? What about this makes you want to help? All these things. There's a really good guide. It's called Rediscovering Me. I think it's called Rediscovering Me guide on Reclaim University. So if you go to my bio or go to the website, thereclaimstrategy.com, and go to Reclaim You, I'm pretty sure the Rediscovering Me guide is free. So go on there and download that. But it's designed to be 3 dates with yourself. And so the first date, it has these questions you ask. Second date, more questions. Third date, more questions. So it gives you time to really get into things and think about things. That your date could be a bubble bath and you fill it out in the bath. Or you could literally go to dinner with yourself if you want. You can go to the park and do it on a park bench. Or you can just sit in your room on the floor and meditate over it. Look in the mirror and have a date with yourself literally in the mirror. That's perfectly fine. But this really guided me through, like, these questions guided me through getting to know me and understanding who I am, what I am, and why I am. And my purpose, I used to think it had to be so concrete, like my purpose is to build, reclaim, and da-da-da-da. No, my purpose is to love, be love, and lead people to God, lead people to heaven, increase the kingdom of God's army. Those are, it's a vague, general, but very convicted purpose. And so anything that comes up, so that way I'm not so bound, right, to one little thing. Anything that comes up, I can say, okay, does this align with me being love, showing love, and building God's kingdom? If it doesn't align with those things, then it's probably not for me. And so this can get confusing because you might have several opportunities that align with these things. And then you have to learn what to say no to and what to say yes to. Of course, every time you say yes to something, you say no to 5 other things. So make your yeses count. And that's kind of where I am with right now, because I've had a lot of opportunities come my way. Some of them, I just couldn't say no. I just opened a restaurant in Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm going to be running it from Colorado. You know what I mean? So is this a smart decision? I don't know. I don't really care. It aligns because it was my dad's restaurant and my dad is sick. And instead of letting the restaurant die, I'm keeping it alive. I'm keeping his dream alive. I'm keeping the work that he's done over the last 5 years alive. To me, opening this restaurant in my name and helping keep it alive, and also giving my dad an opportunity to heal and miraculously recover, I'll never give up hope. That's giving love. That's me being love. And that's leading more people to God's kingdom through Cajun cuisine. It's so good though. Seriously, the beignets themselves will get you to heaven, I promise. But so that was an opportunity that knocked on my door. Did I have time for that? No. I'm a single mom of 4. I have a full-time job, general manager at a roofing company. Aspiring CEO, that's going to take a lot of time and knowledge and experience. And honestly, probably more time than I have right now. But I'm aspiring to that. I'm working to that goal. I'm in online school. I'll be graduating in December, so I'll have more time. That's great. And then Obviously, the Reclaim podcast. There's a lot going on. Did I have time to start a restaurant right now? No, not really. But it gives me a chance to be love, show love, and lead people to God. As long as I can give enough to each thing. And that's why I don't go do a lot of other things right now. I have my set of things that really fulfill my life and feel like they align with my purpose. And I really don't want to deviate from that. So I'm very picky about these things. So I seem really busy, but I fit it in. I even have time to work out and take morning time for myself. And I spend a lot of time with my kids, just me and them, attention for them. And so it sounds like I'm busy, but I have my schedule down to a science and it's beautiful. I even have time to date a little bit. So I have time for like 1 or 2 dates a week. Not that I'm using all of them. Anyways, I do have one special person that's been fun to hang out with, but that's another podcast. Okay, distracted now. Alignment. I'm all giddy. Don't look. I'm blushing. Okay, that you are your own best mentor. I truly believe that. And while I say it's okay to ask for advice, it's okay to get feedback, please don't let it deviate from your alignment. Please get to know yourself enough that you are solid in where you are going, who you are, and why you are. And the only way to do that is to truly spend time with yourself, ask yourself the right questions, change your mindset, have positive self-talk, rewire your brain. You have to rewire your brain to know and love and value yourself as worthy and enough. I have a friend named Sherry, and she's a neuroscientist. And she was talking about knowing and loving and rewiring yourself so much that you're not even worried about becoming her, because you are her. You are already her. And it's a beautiful thing that she talks about. It's a morning routine and putting your hand over your heart. And something about that calms me. I do that all the time. Put your hand over your heart and just press into your sternum. And then it resets your vagus nerve and your nervous system. And it's just a beautiful feeling. But then just to speak love into your heart, saying, I don't have to perform today. I am enough just as I am. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be. I don't have to become her because I already am her. Isn't that amazing? So she has this little challenge. I posted it on my Facebook. Maybe I'll reshare that so you guys can find it easily. But her name's Sherry Hollenbeck. She's a neuroscientist, and this morning routine that she posted is magical and beautiful, and it's exactly what I'm talking about. This mirror work, this knowing, loving, and valuing yourself. Know who you are, why you are, where you're going. Fully, 100% commit to you. You are worthy, you are enough. And the only way to become solid in that is to keep repeating it, keep spending time with yourself. Alignment. Find alignment. You'll feel it. I promise you'll feel it. And then nobody's advice, criticism, or feedback will ever derail you again, because you'll always have the center to come back to. And find your purpose. You can do that with the Reclaim Guidebook. You can do that with one of the first 4 episodes of this Shattered to Unbreakable podcast. The first 4 episodes are literally designed to help you find your purpose and to know and love and like yourself. So I love you guys. Stay sparkly, and I will see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I just wanted to remind you about the resources we have on the reclaimstrategy.com. That is Reclaim University with free downloads. It's the Reclaim Guidebook, access to Kintsugi classes and events. So go ahead and take a look. Also, please share this podcast with anybody that you think might need to hear these messages. And if you haven't already and you think we deserve it, give us a 5-star rating. That just helps our reach. So I love you guys. Stay sparkly, and we will see you next week.